All right, let's go to wide receivers, and the bye week list for wide receivers is significant here. Rashee Rice, Jamar Chase, both Cowboys and George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, Xavier Worthy, Calvin Ridley, and then, of course, pass catchers in general with tight ends Jake Ferguson, Travis Kelce, Noah Fant. This is a brutal pass catcher bye week.
Yes, sir.
By far.
It really is. So you might be looking for some people here. And look, the wide receiver room in Jacksonville just got a little bit more crowded with the trade of Jacoby Myers. But we do like Parker Washington. We talked about him last week with the injury to Travis Hunter. We'll see if and when he comes back. I've seen differing reports. The trade of Myers makes you think that the Hunter injury is more serious than perhaps they're letting on as well. But here's Parker Washington last week. It wasn't just all, obviously there's a lot of slot stuff lining up in the slot, but like doing different things there in the middle. 27% target share last week for Parker Washington, ran 90% of the routes. He was 6th among wide receivers in utilization score in week 9, of course. His score was 88, utilization score, of course, over at fantasylife.com. Our friend Dwayne McFarland puts it together. It's an easy number to understand, not just their utilization, but what it means going forward. And in his career, when he sees at least a 15% target share, he's averaging over 13 fantasy points per game. Good game last week. It's going to take a while for Myers to sort of get up to speed. I'm sure he'll be out there this week, but it'll take a little while. BTJ doesn't seem 100%.
And he hasn't been great this year.
No.
Like they just seem lower on him than you'd expect.
And Diami Brown is back. Isn't Diami Brown in the concussion protocol?
Yep.
I believe that's
so
right.
They have a lot of injuries and question marks.
Yep. Parker Washington also finally broke the Sunday pickup lines curse, going over 3.5 receptions. It's a bad curse on Sunday. It hasn't affected Fridays yet.
I've heard rumors of it, but I haven't asked.
Fridays is okay. Sunday's been a curse. But Parker Washington is the curse breaker. And look, Houston's defense is obviously very imposing.
And I chose that one. That was the one I chose.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Well done by you.
Yeah,
Take that, Lawrence. Not sure if his bet won or not.
Sorry.
But it's a difficult matchup against Houston. At the same time, I don't think this Texans defense is quite the level of imposing that it was towards the end of last season, particularly in the playoffs against the Chargers. So that game is expected to be close to Jags, 1.5-point dogs there. So Parker Washington should get plenty of work as Jacoby Myers gets up to speed. Also, Jacoby Myers, it's hard to assess. He hasn't had a great season. Is that because he's been kind of checked out, waiting to get traded, or is he not the same player that he was? Lean the former, but we still need to see it with Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, and by the way, it's a bad offense. I mean, prior to last week, Brock Bowers hadn't done much in this offense. Like Ashton Genty, who everyone said was like this can't miss, not since Saquon Barkley running back.
Both rookie wide receivers. We haven't seen Jack Besh, Thornton. We've seen really nothing from the offense.
The offense has been broken, and to your point, I don't think Myers has been 100% healthy all year. He's definitely checked out. He literally demanded a trade. He said no. He publicly said, "I want out," and
then was asked to follow up, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll leave."
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Right. Good news. You're going to Geno East, in the Traveler. But so I do think look, he runs. Jacoby Myers obviously plays a lot in the slot, but he can play both sides. I don't think they're going to want Parker Washington to move outside. So I do think Jacoby Myers moves to the outside here, but I think they'll try to be creative with him. It'll take him a little while to get up to speed, but whatever Jacoby Myers' value was in Las Vegas, I think it's more here in Jacksonville. I think there's more opportunity. I think there's a chance that we don't see Travis Hunter again this year. Again, we don't know. I've seen reports like, it's not that bad. And then you're like, well, but you just, but we still think it's a pass-first offense. And we like Jacoby Myers' talent. I think it's just been sort of a lost season here. So I think Jacoby Myers in Jacksonville, maybe not necessarily this week, certainly getting Houston in his first week there. But I do think over the next couple of weeks, Jacoby Myers can be the guy that he was sort of drafted to be, which is kind of a top 25-ish wide receiver in that 20 to 30 range, a wide receiver 3.
Our next wide receiver here, guys, Tory Horton. How about Tory Horton, 95% available?
Let's
Cooper Kupp goes down. Tory Horton, all he does is catch touchdowns. We got to hear from Tory Horton on his mentorship from Jackson Smith and Jigba.
There's a lot of his game that I try to, watch and take just piece by piece from it, on how he, maneuver through routes and, get separation and, just run after catch ability. That's something that you can always learn from. And, even with Coop, just how his mentality on the game and how he maneuvered through things like that. So I'm truly blessed to be behind those guys. And, I pick their brain whenever I get a chance.
Tory Horton with a big game against the Commanders, almost a 17% target share. Obviously, the 2 touchdowns is what matters, over 20 fantasy points. And the difference with this one, Matthew, is he's actually available in most leagues.
95% available. You know what league he's not available in? Ours.
Of course. It's nothing.
Nothing's available in our
Literally.
league.
It's always Alan Lazard. That's what you get every week when you scroll the point projections.
Exactly. It's always
Alan Lazard.
It's always Alan Lazard. Luckily, I do have him in our league, so he will be starting this week against the Chubby Leather Daddies. We're playing each other this week.
What's the spread on
By
that
the way,
game?
45. He's like a 45-point favorite.
It's been better lately.
Yeah, I've been better lately, but no, Jaden, I will see. He should probably kill me.
No,
but
Jaden, you have Drake May and Matthew Stafford.
I do have those two.
You'd be benching him anyway.
I know Xavier Worthy. I have no Xavier Worthy.
Right, he sucks.
I know.
He did nothing against the Bills.
I know. My team isn't good. But anyway, no Chase Brown.
I just lost Tucker Kraft for the year.
But you have Brock Bowers.
It's ridiculous. Tight end stack.
Sure. Yeah.
The old Tucker Kraft, Brock Bowers
Maybe
stack.
I've got Trey McBride lying around there
Probably.
somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, good. No, it's good. I have my 3 superstars, JSN, Amon-Ra, Brock Bowers. None on bye. Yeah, we'll stomp you guys.
I
We'll
agree.
stomp you.
I agree.
Yeah,
You're
it's
a
gonna be
45-point favorite.
A chubby stomping.
Yes, exactly. I will be your leather son. But here's what I will say about Tory
Leather
Horton.
bunny.
Yeah, anyway, Tory Horton will be playing against you, but he is available in 95% of leagues. And in the 2 games in which he's seen at least a 15% target share, he scored at least 18 fantasy points. He looks the part. More than anything else, like we just talked about Sam Darnold, we like this offense. We like the fact that Sam Darnold's not afraid to throw deep. Obviously, you have to send a lot of defensive pressure and attention to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and that's just opening up stuff for Tory Horton, they use him on special teams, and because Cooper Kupp's there, he hasn't been able to get into a full-time role. But with Cooper Kupp out on Sunday night, he got a full-time role. He produced in a big way. I don't know that Cooper Kupp is coming back this week, but either way, Tory Horton has earned a larger role in this offense.
Right, that's the most important thing is even if Cooper Kupp comes back, why would you take Tory Horton off the field? He gives you a down-the-field speed element. He's good at tracking the ball. I mean, they've really opened things up with him. Yeah. So it's a barren week on wide receiver waivers. This would be a guy I would target for sure. We got a question here from Aloha Bricks, who's always out there watching. Tory Horton or Troy Franklin for the rest of the season?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a really good one.
That's a really good one.
I would watch and see what the Broncos do today. There's a chance the Broncos make a move today, and if they do, then the answer is Tory Horton.
Yeah, I think the answer might be Tory Horton anyway, just because when Marvin Mims comes back, I think it's Troy Franklin is their number 2, but then, they Marvin Mims, and then they're doing wheel routes with R.J. Harvey.
Right, and they're not a fun watch for the first 3 quarters of the game. So
it always feels like it's Cortland Sutton, and then there's kind of this group, and of that group, you prefer Troy Franklin to sort of the other guys, to the Pat Bryants and the Marvin Mims of the world. But I think there's a chance. I guess what I would say is I think they're both big play guys. They're both talented. But I prefer the target competition that Tory Horton has, which is not much, compared to Troy Franklin, which is a lot.
Right.
I think Horton has the lesser target competition.
Also prefer Horton's quarterback.
That's fair.
Yes.
That's also fair.
Our
So
next
the answer, there you go, Aloha Bricks.
Our next wide receiver, Alec Pierce here, Jay, the always underappreciated Alec Pierce. 74% available surprises me. He's been the vertical threat in this very good Colts offense.
How do you feel about it being 74% available? Because you've been ringing the bell on Alec Pierce all season long.
I feel like I'm not respected in this fine nation. But Alec Pierce, that 74% is about to go down because he's no longer just, as we've spoken about, he's no longer just a deep ball threat. He's no longer a poor man's Rashid Shaheed. He's actually a guy who's developed more sophistication to his route tree. He's able to earn 13 targets against the Steelers. That's his second double-digit target game in the past 3 weeks. Goes for 115 yards. And Danny Dimes left some dimes on the table in that game. He missed Alec Pierce wide open for what would have been a 40, 50-yarder as well. So, look, Alec Pierce, Pittman's the guy you want in the passing game in terms of the wide receivers. But Alec Pierce, I think, has now moved above Josh Downs as the clear number 2 guy. And I think there will be weeks, certainly, where he exceeds Pittman.
I think he's the number 3 in that passing offense behind Tyler Warren as well.
Yeah,
and they're run heavy
sneakily
with Jonathan Taylor. But I agree with you. Pierce needs to be rostered more. We like his talent.
Yeah, Tyler Warren also, he doesn't have he hasn't had monster games. He hasn't had a 100-yard
kind of just been steady Eddie all year.
He's just pencil him in 5 for 60 every week, Tyler Warren.
With a shot at a touchdown here.
Yeah.
All right, our deeper league targets. Speaking of Troy Franklin, he's got the Raiders in week 10, 52% available. So there's a chance he's out there for you. He meets our threshold. Christian Watson, who is the ultimate deep ball merchant.
Yes.
Right now, which that is a good thing in the Packers offense where Jordan Love is always looking to throw the ball down the field. He's got the Eagles. Darius Slayton, just because of the usage in the Giants offense, they're really running out of bodies on that in the skill group. Tez Johnson as a potential flex here, Matthew, and then we'll see if Jack Bech ever actually does play for the Raiders now that they moved out Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, I mean, Tez Johnson, since week 5, he's averaging over 11 fantasy points per game. We've talked about Watson, in terms of running the deep routes. Troy Franklin has 28 targets over the last 3 weeks. I mean, again, you still prefer Cortland Sutton there, but it does feel like he's established himself as a step above the remaining wide receiver by committee there in Denver. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.